hello. Hello? Hello? It's only ever this lead. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Apologies for whatever that was that just happened, but Mateusz Staflinski is out, and we're under a VSC. We're not sure exactly what happened in that moment. Something happened, and we missed it, so I'm sure one of the drivers can give me a quick fill-in on the server and let me know what exactly I just missed.
Yeah, we'll find out. What we do know that Toflinski's out of the race, and all of a sudden, all of the things are falling into place for Zelazny, still leading the race, over 2 seconds in the lead, and a lot of his championship rivals falling by the wayside entirely.
Yeah, which is exactly what we want to see with Mateusz, with Zelazny. It's what he wants to see to try to get his way forward. He's trying to keep things going. It looks like there was a moment with Velix and Mateusz, and that is what caused him to drop back. So we'll see how things get affected on the race. VSC is still out. Baron, I would have thought, would have taken the pit stop there for the cheap pit stop, but opts not to. Does Graxit decide to? Graxit does not, and Graxit also has a penalty, and I believe that is 3 seconds. It is. Now Velix picks up a penalty for speeding under VSC. Race is underway, DRS enabled, and that came at the worst possible time for Baron. Now Baron and Kashi side by side here through turn 1. 5 laps to go. Baron is on the old medium tires. Kashi's on the soft tires and doing everything he can to try to get past. He's looking inside. He's looking outside. He's not able to make anything happen, though, but he finally sneaks his way through to turn 2. Beautiful move around.
That was very nicely done from Kashti, who really needed that, but he's still 2.5 seconds away with less than 6 laps remaining. This is looking pretty difficult for him to manage now. Baron really needs to hang on there because those mediums are going to come to him in a couple of moments, and soon he'll be the one making the moves on Kashti, I would have thought.
Yeah, it's going to be... That was an important move for Kashti. 5 laps to go here. That was a very critical move for him to get that pass done and keep his way moving forward if he can. He needs to try to build up a bit of a gap on Baron, and he needs to get himself set up to where he can not be pressured by Baron in the end when those medium tires come around. And maybe that's what Baron and Graxit were going for, is they thought that the softs would wear off and the medium tires would come around late enough for them to have a move in a moment. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, though. Lap 31 to 35 now starting, and you can see Kashti there in P2 with Baron. Back in P3 with DRS. Graxit's under pressure by Gavron here as we go through, so we'll see where that happens. But, of course, he has that 3-second penalty, so Graxit will be dropped back into P5 once penalties are applied.
Yeah, we'll have to see where everybody ends up at the end of this one, but Zelazny is looking like he's going to take a 25-point championship lead into the next rounds of the championship after John Meister's absence. Toflinski's retirement will put him 29 points behind. Gavron at the moment would be 28 points behind. Baron where would he be? Gavron will be even further back than that, by the way. Gavron will be 33 back. For Baron, it would be 42. It would suddenly go from a very close championship to some quite big gaps.
Yeah, and, you know, we talked about things haven't always been this close in PPR with the championship, and if you're going to submit your way forward and kind of settle things in and start to build a gap, now's probably the time to do it here on the back half of the season. So we'll see how things run through. Look at this, Gavron really putting pressure down on Graxit. He's right in prime position where he needs to be as we go through into lap 32 of 35 now. And again, we continue to see the top 3 open up. This battle for P4 will continue, and you see Gavron thought about a dive on the inside. He fakes Craxton out. He's going to run him deep. They go through, and there it is. He's around through. He's past. There it is, Gavron with a beautiful move up into P4.
Yeah, he just fooled him there, didn't he, slightly? Craxton 40 had that one covered into turn 1, and then Gavron went again down the inside. It was late on the brakes, still a surprising amount of grip left in those soft compound tyres, and it's turned out very well for the driver of the McLaren. That's an extra couple of points to his name in what's turning into a fantastic day for McLaren.
Yeah, McLaren are going to be ecstatic with this run by the time it's done. Red Bull are absolutely out, and those are the big rivals in the Constructors' Championship. And then again, you still have the Drivers' Championship where everything is set up. And I mean, it's just going to be a good points haul, a good weekend. Everyone's going to be very, very happy if you are a McLaren fan here by the end of the day. Mercedes are also going to be in a pretty good place. I think they'll, get to pull Red Bull up. They might not get P2 in the Constructors, but they're not going to be that far off, honestly. And so that will be a good day for them. Craxton needs to try to get his run on Gavron. I don't think he can pull out 3 seconds, but even just the on-track win will make him feel good and will be important. He needs to maintain the gap to Wasserschwein in P6 as well. But you can see he's trying to use DRS. He's trying to stay there. He's battling, though, and if I was Craxton, I don't know if I would battle this right now on lap 33 or 35. I feel like I would rather just stay behind Gavron and hold the DRS with him and just stay there and keep distance from Wasserschwein. Because the issue is, if Wasserschwein gets within range, he's going to be in trouble and he's going to lose more places.
I don't know, I think we're at the stage in the race now where the mediums are coming back to them and the soft tyres are going to be the ones starting to fall away slightly, so it's time to push on. I think if you're a medium tyre runner, you can see Gavron now struggling. This is what I said a few moments ago, that it was important for Craxton to stay ahead of Gavron because those tyres, those soft tyres were going to fall off, and that has cost Craxton a bit of time there, having to re-overtake again into 4th place. So he's now through. That might well be where he finishes because there's only 2 laps to go. What remains to be seen is whether Cassidy will finish second ahead of Barron, because the medium tyres are actually going to get to the stage where they're quicker now than the softs, and Craxton just has to pull a margin over Gavron to sustain that penalty and sort of stay ahead of him after applying that penalty.
Yeah, and now as we come across the line, lap 34-35 starting now, it's going to be a matter of just pulling distance, pulling space, doing what you can to get forward and get ahead. And, I mean, the medium tires are coming in, but I think it might be 1 lap too late. I think we're going to be waiting. We need an extra lap, really, for Graxit to be able to try to pull anything through and make anything major happen. Or he needs his teammate Baron to drop back a little bit and help him, and I don't see that happening either, as Baron has a very significant gap there. Tazo and Wasserschwein battling it out side by side through turn 3. Oh, maybe a little bit of wheel contact, but Tazo does get ahead of Wasserschwein there. So Wasserschwein now relegated into 7th place with that penalty. We're yellow flag sector 1. Something has happened between Velix and Maverick now currently coming back out there on turn 2. Not having a good time there, so he will lose the last of the points paying places, and it looks like Velix will hold on to that P10 as it stands. But let's check in with our leader up front. 3.6 seconds, and he's still trying to pull gaps on Kashti, so very, very content and comfortable there in P1.
Yeah, he really is. This is going to be a fantastic drive from Zelazny to get himself a 25-point championship lead heading into the next rounds of our championship. It could well be his 15th win in the Pole Position Racing League, and it would be a very, very important one as well, because he's not won yet this season. Despite his 6 podiums throughout, he has yet to stand on the top step. Now finally, today may be his day.
Yeah, and that's another unique statement. This season has been full of weird and different situations, and including Zelazny not having a win yet, but thankfully he can rectify that today as long as he makes it through the next couple miles with no issues. And you can see he's running through. You can see the gap here with Graxit and Gavron is open. It's not really open. It's closed a bit, but Graxit is still holding on to P4 as they run through. They're coming through the middle sector. Only a handful of moments left to try to get a pass here for Gavron, and I don't think he's going to be able to. I think he's going to just settle in here at the back of the middle sector. He's not going to have the room to run a pass. But meanwhile, your leader, Zelazny, 3.7 seconds in the end is what it took. It's taken him 11 rounds this season. Very out of character for him, but he's finally found the win. here in Season 10 at round 11. He's going to come around the final corner here and will take the win here. Zelazny is your winner of round 11. You can see he slows it down. He brings it across the line. He celebrates it and loves it. Kashti comes across P2, and then it is the Mercedes taking the controversial decision to stay out on that final safety car. They finish P3 and P5 respectively, as Gavron will be moved up into 4th place. McLaren will be ecstatic with that points haul. They'll be very happy. Tazo in 6th. Wasserschwein and Maddie will bring it across 7th, and Maddie will actually lose a position here, I believe, and will drop to P9, and it will be Frantic who finds P8 there in the AlphaTauri. And then from there, it is both Aston Martins and P10 Velix finishing ahead of Kushor in P11 and Maverick in 12th place. But what a day for McLaren. What a points haul. What a good Hungary GP.
Yeah, good race for McLaren, especially 37 points to their name with a 1st and a 4th. And Zelazny in the driver's standings really pulling away from the rest. 25 over John Meister, 29 over Toflinski. Gavron is going to be 31 back. Barron is going to be even further back as well. What an important win for Zelazny of McLaren.
And driver of the day is Tazo. That one I very much agree with. Tazo had a good run here in this race today, and we'll see our podium celebrations. And Mr. O'Leary, I have to ask, what are your thoughts about Hungary? I think it produced more than either you or me were expecting.
Yeah, I think that the safety cars certainly helped here in terms of packing the field up again and making strategy calls very important today. It certainly helped out a few drivers and got in the way of some others. Would Zelazny have won without that second safety car? That will always remain the question, but motorsport's all about what ifs, of course, and so it's not exactly surprising that we talk about these things at the end of the race. But an entertaining one for sure, very important one in the context of the championship, which is not too many rounds away from its finish now.
Yeah, that is going to be the end of round 11 here. Of course, next week we're well into the final runs of this season. So from here, it is going to be round 12. Round 12 is going to be Belgium. It's Circuit Le Spa-Francorchamps. And then from there, it is Monza, the Italian GP. And then we get Singapore round 14. This is the 28th of April, sprint weekend. And then it's Suzuka, Austin, Mexico City, and then we round it out on the 26th of May in Abu Dhabi at the Yas Island. So we're not that far off. The championship isn't sealed out, but for McLaren, this is going to be the statement that they wanted to make.
Yeah. It absolutely is, and so it's up to everybody else to now respond. Toflinski especially has got to make a big response in his driver championship aspirations, because he was thrown a couple of lifelines today with the 2 safety cars. He wasn't able to take either of them. Mercedes will be disappointed with the way that the safety cars came out, because they would have really benefited from not seeing that second one, not seeing the first one, to be honest. Barron was in a good place before the first safety car, so they will be very disappointed with how it went today, but they'll have to bounce back next time at the Belgian Grand Prix.
Yeah, absolutely. That has been round 11 here, the Belgian Grand Prix. Join us next week for round 12 at Spa-Francorchamps. On behalf of Mr. Ewan O'Leary, my name is Bradley Dalton, and we have taken you from start to finish, and we will see you in 7 days' time. Good night.